Following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. A NASCAR staple track built in the early 60s and one that held racing up until the early 2000s. After about a decade hiatus, it gained some traction in the early 2010s with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and some ARCA and other series at the time, and then it went into another defunct state for another 1 decade until just recently here in 2025, where the Xfinity and Truck Series have brought life back to the famous Rockingham Speedway. Well, now it's the area iRacing's turn to do just the same, and that is what we have right here on the docket tonight. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Area Truck Series round number 6 right here from the famed Rockingham Speedway. We're going to be doing 140 circuits around this slightly less than 1 mile D-shaped oval. Going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the production truck, and I have my fellow co-owner here of the channel, Mr. Brad Dalton, here to help me with the calls. So Brad, a famous and a very exciting week of racing here at Rockingham in the real world, and we get to do it here in the simulator world, and the area guys certainly will put on a show for us.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I mean, when you can list names of drivers such as Richard Petty, David Pearson, Bobby Allison, Cale Yarborough, Del Waltrip, Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jarrett, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, and Matt Kenseth as winners of this track, you know a track has good history. When the golden age of NASCAR showed up here and was showing out, and now we bring it back in the real world, and I'm so glad to see this track getting love in iRacing. It's such a fun track to run. It's a track that does give challenges, and well, who's gonna rock the rock? I have a curious moment, but that 15 slide to the side tells me that we're gonna see more of that tonight.
And I don't know what anybody is cooking here. It was only a matter of time till one of us said that. But of course, if you did watch the real world and you are akin to what goes on in such areas, you'll notice that this is not a one-to-one replication. We are racing on the pavement circa the 2012 time frame. Therefore, it is a bumpy roller coaster ride that is very, very abrasive, not the pristine non-tire wearing pavement they use in the real world. So these guys will be fighting all around. These drivers will be using all 3, 4, however many lanes this place has, Brad. It is a very multi-groove facility.
It's one of the things that I like about Rockingham, though, Corey, is the fact that you can pretty well make whatever work with this and have no issues. Nothing crazy really comes up. Well, I won't say nothing crazy comes up. How's a better way to phrase this? It won't surprise me if we see people ripping the lip right there like that on the high line, ripping through like we watched the 26 do, or if we see people who decide to take it down low and hug the low line. You know, Jonathan Evans here might decide to do that all in a lap. It just depends on how he's feeling, but it just works. It all works. It makes for, honestly, some of the best racing I could think of.
Yeah, exactly that. You go through the bumps here through the bottom of 3 and 4. He is on lap number 1. He might be doing this for his fast lap, or he might take it down to the bottom of the circuit here. He'll do that all the way akin to what you see at Kansas Speedway, going all the way down to the flat, and he will muster a 24. He'll go top of the board. The times are flying on in here. Here's Mr. Travis Beckner. His time hasn't started. Timmy Pacioli, he is going to go top of the board with a 24:20, just a skosh faster. And we know some of these other guys are going to be hot and heavy getting these laps in. Who else? Where is our points leader? Has he already run?
What is Jeremy Miller doing right here?
He's pulling off the old Kyle Busch card and just running backwards because obviously he is not satisfied with his run. But again, after a week off here, excited to be back. Garrett Conrath has gone top of the board. Who else do we have? We have Ben Pierce in the 65 truck. He will assert himself in that 12th position. Who else? We got Mr. Seth Noel. Well, 33 seconds on the rock. That ain't anything to be excited about. But here is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Brian Mercario here. Fast in practice, and I expect him to be fast in Q.
Brian Mercario is a quick driver. That is the one thing I will say for him. He's consistently in that top 5, being competitive. 5 starts, 1 win, and 4 top 5s. I mean, currently leads Peyton Howell by 1 point in the standings, with Jordan Kuntz tied not tied in third. He stayed in third in points after last week. He's at 180 points, 25 back from the leader right now. Garrett Conrath, Jake Nichols, your top 5 in points currently. Lots of drivers really going to be gunning for this here. We're at 5 races through, and things are going to get going pretty quick, pretty fast, pretty heavy. And, it's weird to think that we're already to race 6 of this season, and it technically isn't. We're almost to halfway through this season already. That's the words I'm trying to say.
Shorter seasons here, which keep things excited. Mercario not able to go P1. He'll go P2. Jake Nichols there. 3. Trey Edson, a great lap for him here. Now here's the chicken. Just had myself some Popeyes for dinner. So let's see what the 85 of Lee Norton can muster. If he can keep the 0X off of the concrete there. Goes all the way down to the flat, and he won't be too pleased with that lap. But again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in here. If you're watching on PTR TV, we just hit 1,600 subscribers. Now the new goal is 1,700. A little bit of help from you will certainly do us some favors there. Of course, if you're watching on Twitch, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel to catch the Area Truck Series. And you can also catch the Xfinity Pro Series, Area Pro Series on Thursdays. You can get your custom iRacing emotes in the chat while earning double points as a subscriber, which you can redeem for free merch. $5 a month there on the Twitch side of things here, as a couple guys left to run here with about a minute left in queue.
Yeah, that minute left in qualifying. Peyton Howell here coming through. Again, he is currently sitting second in points. He was the points leader, but then after we had Watkins Glen, things flip-flopped because he finished 6th last time out here. We'll see if he can put a little bit more time in and get things through, and he is going to be gunning. He needs a good week here this week to try to get that points lead back. He needs to do better than Brian Mercario, and where is he going to be? Well, he comes around 24,167. And that's going to put him in 4th.
Into 4th?
Into 4th is what I was trying to say. Words. Words are hard, Corey. Come on now.
Yeah, precisely that. And this is going to be the caboose here on the qualifying train, but maybe he won't start last. Gabe Herschel, well, he gunned for it. He is last, so the caboose in more than one capacity here. So that will wrap up qualifying, and to no surprise of anybody, well, actually, Garrett Conrath, I don't think he's got a pole this season, so maybe a little bit of a surprise there. But, of course, some fast drivers up now. We will head down into warm-up, 5 minutes, and that just gives us some time to, again, just kind of talk about where we stand here on the season, Brad. Of course, 2 weeks ago, we ran at the road course. Watkins Glen had a lot of dynamics there with EOLs, and I was looking at some of the pre-race analytics, and it looks as though we're going to have a fair amount of EOLs here tonight as well.
Yeah, we are. It's going to be interesting to kind of watch and see how things go through. What I'm really curious to see here is how the teams handle that. One of the things that we talk about with Area that makes Area unique is their great team charter system and how they set up. And you run with your teams, you run through, but if you have teammates that go to EOLs, how do you work together? If your whole team goes EOL, I mean, shoot, it's possible. It is a thing that could happen. It kind of makes it interesting for me to see how teams handle those dynamics. how they work through. And, you know, if you have a teammate coming through that's faster, what do? Do you work with them to the front? Do you just move out of the way, or do you say, nah, I'm ahead of you, you got to earn it? Those dynamics I always find interesting, especially EOLs coming in, everything else coming in. It all piles up for a great race.
Yeah, we have looks like 3 here on the day. It's going to be Jeremy Miller, Lee Norton, the chicken, and the 8 truck will Andrew. He will be sent to arrears. That's Mr. Ryan Andrew, in fact, here. Let's just bring up our track map here. It shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but there's a lot of different takes here on how long this track is. This track forever and a mile has always been 1.017 miles. The 400 miler was always a 393 lap race. iRacing measures tracks a little bit differently, and they say it's 0.97 miles. And if you watch the real world this weekend, this track is 0.94 miles. So how long is this track? Who the knows? We just know that it's around a mile long.
Well, I can tell you right now, if you're a long-term fan of the channel and you know Andre, who joins us very often time to time, he joins me on Wednesday nights usually, but we've seen him on a lot of, the 29 into the wall there and the 28 not happy about it. But he had a long tangent about that track measurement and how you classify this track. That's the fun part for me, is that depending on how you want to argue the length of this track, 0.97, 0.94, or 1 point, whatever you want to call it, just changes the entire perception of this track. So, yeah, I don't know if we want to put Andre on a long tangent, but I'm actually kind of curious to see his long tangent and his opinion, but I think we all know his opinion.
The TLDR is this a short track? NASCAR was qualifying it as a short track. Is it an intermediate? Is it a speedway? I mean, we could call it a short interspeedway. I guess we could throw them all into one. I mean, I kind of say that I say a mile and a half and up is a speedway. I personally would call this an intermediate, but my take on an intermediate is a little bit different. Like I would call Loudon, I'd call Gateway intermediates. I mean, Phoenix. I mean, but again, there's, you could say tomato, potato, potato. I mean, no matter what happens, we're all going to fight about it on X at the end of it. But the number 1 truck here in warm-up, he is number 1. Well, the number 1 truck is number 1 in warm-up here, Seth Noel. So let's see if that trend can continue for him later tonight.
He's going to try at least. I have a feeling that regardless of what we want to see happen, it may not happen, but we can certainly hope and pray and try, right? Just because the number 1 doing well here in the warm-up, which granted, I'm going to give him the defense here. Doing well in warm-up is usually a good indicator of how things go. Qualifying doesn't have to be your best friend. You need to do well in a race, and you have to make it to the end. Even if you qualify well, you spin it out, it doesn't matter.
See here, we're on board with Jake Fisher in the 84. Jalen Handkamp there having some connectivity issues, but you can really see the bumps, the undulations. 3 and 4, usually it's easier to run the top in 3 and 4 because it's smoother. 1 and 2 has a really weird, just radius here in the way that it tightens up on corner exits. So you'll see guys kind of diamonding it. You really can't wrap the bottom there. But because of the geometry of the track, it makes it hard to run the top there. So really, this track just, it's a handful. That's why the drivers do tend to love it here. But this is the end of warm-up, so we will get ourselves situated on the starting lineup. And tonight, our starting lineup, of course, will be brought to you by Central Mobile Homes. Looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or a triple crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They're proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years with a plethora of small, large home floor plan shed designs and triple crown trailers available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com for more information. And Brad, how about we head down trackside and hit them with that starting lineup?
And getting this underway is going to be Garrett Conrath in first place, his first pole of this season, and Brian Mercurio, current points leader, sitting in second place. Jake Nichols in third, and Peyton Howell, who's second in points, will start fourth on the track. From there, it's P5 Trey Edson, and then Timmy Pacioli in P6. From there, we're going P7 Ryan Andrew, and then Tanner Love. He's going to be loving P8 here tonight in that number 71 Ford. From there, we're going P9 which is going to be Jonathan Evans. And then Preston Pardis in 10th place in that 05, driving that truck on in.
And he is a real world driver to boot. Mr. Danny Ware, he is in the 11th position. Josh Ballier in the 12th position. 13th finds Philip Groner and Travis Beckner, our flagman at Hendry County. He is in 14th. With Jalen Handcamp, hopefully the connection stays put. He's in 15th. Jordan Kuntz, 99 in the 16th spot. The Chicken will go to the EOL, and Jake Fisher will occupy the 18th spot, rounding out our top. We got those guys. Brad.
21st, Tanner Bethea. And 22nd, Ben Pierce, piercing into 22nd. From there, 23rd, Brad Slaughter Jr. and Bryce Sinisak in P24. From there, it's 25th, David Weishart and Josh Parrish in P26. From there, we're going P27, Jeremy Brown, and then Devin Johnson, 28th. From there, P29, Alex Chilcutt and AJ Stravato in P30. And Corey, you want me to finish this one out for you?
Sure, I'll try to gain English skills.
Good luck with that. Casey Lakatis in 31st, Tyler Hallman in 32nd. From there, we're going 33rd, Gary Waterworth and Doug DeNice in P34. It's very nice. I said that right. Sean Farr was our only go or go homer. So Sean Farr registered 35th, but is not actually in 35th. 36th, Garrett Grant. From there, we're going 37th, Mason Kane, Gabe Herschel. From there, we're going to go Seth Noel, Caden Diedrich, and then Rocky Boy the third, Cameron Hearn.
Just let them scroll because this part's usually wrong anyways, but
yep,
that'll be our lineup and see what it is. But you can see the EOLs here, I'm assuming, as we tend to get the benefit of a second pace lap, because on this track that is an unknown distance that is somewhere in the realms of 1 mile, we'll obviously need a little bit more space. But our race detail, sponsored by something, it is 140 laps here, 132 miles. That is per my broadcast sheet, which is using this as 0.94 miles. Do your own math if you believe otherwise. 4 sets of tires, full fuel loads, again fixed sets, and we do have the green white checkers, need they avail.
Gonna be fun to watch and see if those green white checkers have to come in. Area tends to be a very, very clean run though, and these guys tend to do pretty well about keeping the trucks in as much of one piece as humanly possible. And Rockingham, you know, the rock here, it sometimes does not play nice to that, but I do think, again, just like Doug DeNice, I'm very glad that it was nice to say his name. We'll see what happens here.
Our keys to the race. Survive the bumps. Again, that will dictate where you run. Pick your lane. You saw them rim riding, but if they're all rim riding, you're going to have to make the bottom work somehow. So you're going to have to find your way to maneuver this racing circuit here and then save the tires. Unlike the real world, this track is abrasive. If you use the rubber too early, it won't be there for you later. So are you going to bank on this going green? Or are you going to bank on those yellows? But no matter what you do, those Goodyears need to become your friend, as everybody is in their position that they need to be. I think 43 trucks strong that we will have here at the Rockingham Speedway for round number 6 of the Area Truck Series.
Round number 6 coming through, coming around. That official pace truck of iRacing and of these trucks will come around. Hendry County Motorsports 49 on the inside, the Rebel Rabbit 82 on the outside. Who will get the run into turn 1? Well, it's $1 million question. Barney the flag man has the flag here, and we are going to get green flag racing here around the rock. And I tell you what, that 82 did not get away well.
Junkin!
Right, big!
Holy mother of toothpaste! We are done destroyed.
Well, pack all these trucks up.
Where's next week?
The Rock. Yeah, I'll see you next week, y'all.
All right. 71 of Tanner Love. That was the sort of start of it. That's at least what I saw on that angle anyways. Our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay, of course. I took a week off. Maybe I can't speak, but I remember my sponsors at least. Let's see what happened.
So I know that 82 on the high line was very slow on the takeoff.
Yeah, wheel spin.
He just lost it.
Yeah, just straight turned that thing hooked to the right. And
I mean, if you got a slow-mo blimp here, this would be a good time just to watch.
You're going to test my slow-mo skills here, bro?
Yeah, how well is your slow-mo skills?
They've been better, but
well,
just because you
it.
asked, I will try.
Listen,
no, I won't.
Right. Also, Sean Farr, I just saw what you put in YouTube chat, and I need you to know that, yeah, you should feel pretty good right about now.
Yeah, you missed that here. Maybe, just maybe here. We'll try one more slow-mo again. I am just not the slow-mo king here. I don't have all the buttons and the doodads, and I could do it, but it's just not pretty. But either way, you saw that truck right-hand hook there, and because this surface is not new, it is old. I don't know when they paved this place prior to 2024. I don't know when they paved this place, but it would have been early 90s. So this pavement at the time, about 28 years old in that North Carolina sun. They said it has those seashells and all that grit into it. So kind of akin to old Atlanta, Brad. You hit that gas, and even on fresh tires, it's not going to bite.
Yeah, it's so unique too in that regard, because most tracks that you run, you stomp the throttle and the truck just goes. You don't have to worry about that. But I mean, you said it best. The only other track you really deal with that with is Atlanta, and that's just, again, a unique one-off here. Still pacing around. This will give the guys a couple more moments to, I think, regather their thoughts here and get things going. And really be comfortable. We'll see how things come together when it comes through. I think they'll be okay. All things considered, it's going to be we're 1 to green. Corey, I don't think we're going to see that again. And you know what? It's my fault because I praise these guys for being so amazing at racing.
Well, that's just what happens. As a racer, that, it's an issue getting the wheels, getting the power planted. But that if you can get 1% more throttle down the guy in front of you, you're going to get a run. But sometimes that 1% down ends up being more than those Goodyears can equip you with in terms of the grip. But we'll try again up front. Mercurio to the top of the circuit, and Garrett Conrath, our pole sitter, he is right down there on the flat. Jake Nichols been one to watch this season. Peyton Howell outside of row 2, and I want to watch that Mobil 1 truck down to the inside. That Mobil 1 Toyota Trey Edson, probably one of the best starts he's had on the season. So taking your pick. Was that even a restart? Does that start count? Is this a restart? Is this the initial start? But either way, we'll try it once more. And good jump by Conrath. Mercurio had some struggles on the outside.
Yeah, great jump there from Conrath to get through. We're going 3 wide in the background with the What's on Tap truck there back in the back line. And everybody will, I think, settle it down coming out of 2 here and get back double file. Everybody seems clean out of 2. Now it's down into 3, and it's second place really challenged right now. Nichols and Mercurio coming through out of turn 4. Everybody seems to have it together, and that's a much better way to start a race. And I'm calling this the official start.
Yeah, we'll take this here, and now we'll start. Never mind.
Well, I'm gonna stop talking. How about that? I'm done. I'm gonna stop talking because clearly every time I say something, I'm jinxing it.
Yeah, well, we'll go back on our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay. Saw Jake Fisher involved. That's Seth Noel. Remember, he was fast in practice, and he's like, well, they told me I had to go fast, so he put it right there in the middle. Jordan Kuntz did about a 1080 plus another 360. Do that math for me. But he managed to save it.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, 1080 plus 360, that is going to give you a 1440.
Did Tony Hawk ever do one of those? No, but Jordan Coates did. There's a 180. There's a 360. All right, I gave him an extra 1,000 degrees of rotation there, but it sounded cool.
It did sound cool. I'll give you credit on that one. But lap 7 of 140, Rockingham's second time through. And, that was a interesting moment here. Rockingham, I don't know. I didn't think this track would really prove that much of a challenge for these guys. And I don't know if it's just they took a week off and ate too much ham for Easter or what they did. But, man, they are very clearly there's some rust in the buckets and the pedals that they need to get out.
Well, speaking of ham goes good with hot sauce. Head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made in South Florida. Try the Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series. See which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie there. rickshotsauce.com. Love when I could segue a sponsor in like that.
I could really use some hot sauce right now. I'm not going to lie. That sounds really good.
I was teaching my kids soccer yesterday, even though I have no soccer skills. And when I was growing up playing basketball, whenever you did like an Allen Iverson crossover, you'd yell, hot sauce! I just hot sauced you. That was our mid-2000s speak of saying that we crossed you up. So, little.
See, I just yell Kobe anytime I throw something in a trash can. That's my thing.
Rest in peace. But do people put hot sauce on? What? I mean, cue the old lady with Frank's. You could put that on anything. I mean, your scrambled eggs, your... Go on.
The best thing to put hot sauce on is ramen noodles. Specifically, if you got that creamy chicken ramen noodle, throw some hot sauce in there. That's delicious. Also, do people put hot sauce on ham? I put hot sauce on ham. I put hot sauce on anything. Come on now.
I bet some South Beach heat from rickshotsauce.com would go fabulous on a piece of Easter ham there. Then melt a little bit of cheese on it. Make a grilled cheese ham hot sauce sandwich. Ooh la la. Let me... have a midnight snack here tonight, but I'll have to order my Rick's hot sauce here. So coming through 3 and 4, I think we've mustered about 2 green flag laps, maybe 3 if you're generous. And our front row has yet to change. That outside has really, really been the troublesome spot on these restarts. Let's see if Mercario can get the run, and will everybody else get through safety? We'll find out together. Pace truck pulls in. We'll try it one more again. Let's see what happens. And there we go. And I think I saw some trouble out back. Someone pulled out to the 3rd lane to get out of the way, but we all continue fine.
I was about to say, I don't know who that is in the 3rd lane, but you spotted that better than I did here as we continue through turn 3, Corey. Everyone holding on here. That truck high's trying to stay out of the way. We got a little bit of shuffling. Very back of the field. Somebody's just now coming out of the pits, but up front it is Garrett Conrath getting another run. Good lead there, and really the big challenge is Pacioli and Peyton Howe going through. Peyton Howe dropping down into 5th, continuing that around as he rips that high line. Pacioli does, and Peyton Howe down low, but they're going to try to bring it single file. The guys here at the front, they want to hold single file if they can.
Brad, we might be here for a long one tonight.
Well, no, you can tell the week off did nobody handy.
Yeah.
Didn't do me handy because I'm forgetting stuff. Didn't do you handy because you're forgetting English. And well, seems the drivers are just knocking off the cobwebs.
I know it's our Victory Lane sponsor, but I might need a can of Victory fuel to get me through this race here. But let's see what happened. The 24 Caden Diedrich got loose on the bottom, hit Mr. Anna Sogak there, and they had a little kerfuffle of sorts there down the back. Doesn't look terminal for either truck, but a little ding there, a little dang there, and they'll get sorted out. And well, that's not good. This is live footage.
I thought that was like a second part of the replay, and I was confused why the overlay kicked the way it did. But I mean, okay, that's a interesting moment to see.
I just read something in chat about putting hot sauce on significant others here. So I don't know if Rick allocates that or if that passes any safety standards or if it's medically safe for internal usage. But Mr. Brett Shear in chat, you have a ball with that.
Listen, Brett Shear is just a man of the people, to quote What's on Tap there. And clearly What's on Tap knows what's a man of the people, because What's on Tap, I mean, it's pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. I like that number 40, D-Nice designs there. I also really like that 85 pink and gray truck there. I really, really like that. There's a lot of good looking, we're going to pull this out. One broadcast every week has to have this one pulled out. There's a lot of nice liveries here on the track today.
Yeah, we're just kind of, something we don't usually do. These are the guys here back of the pack. This guy, he won Daytona, but just some of the paint schemes we don't usually see because, we cover the whole field, but, in great detail, give these guys their showcase here. Some of these, all these guys put some serious effort in on their paint schemes. Seth Noel, well, we just covered him a few minutes ago, but that's just a little look back here, but I think we are due for yet another restart. I think that was our 3rd caution. We are certainly playing the caution game here today, assuming that our live telemetry that we've now posted doesn't spill the deets on that. I don't think it does. We may be playing our caution game here. Yes, it doesn't. So yeah, we'll certainly be having fun with that. Unless we can clean this up, which I have all suspicion that we will here. Doubled up, stacked up, ready to go back. Green flag racing. Well, 14 laps in. Didn't talk much about the fuel load. The reason is because I have no idea what it is. I'm going to gather it's probably around 70 laps. These cautions, sir, are helping, but I know they're going to want tires before that. But again, only 4 sets on the wall to play with here tonight.
4 sets on the wall. In theory, if we're 140 laps, I know fuel load and tire load does not necessarily equal, but 35 laps going through. We just got to make it there. It'll be okay. We'll come through. I got full faith in these guys. And Garrett Conrath, I mean, he's getting the restart practice of the season. But again, Brian Mercurio on that high line. That high line cannot get a restart right to save their life. And the 86 there of Pacioli peeking out wide there to come through. On board with Trey Edison here. Started 5th, currently 6th. That is a -1 change, but it says a net 0. Overlay, can't do math. Neither can a commentator. It's fine. And up front, everybody's doing pretty okay here, Corey. We get one more lap down, lap 15 of 140 on the board.
Yeah, here we are up front. You can see most of the leaders choosing to go down to the bottom of the racetrack. The shortest way around this Rockingham Speedway, formerly called the North Carolina Motor Speedway, formerly called something before that I'll probably look up at some point. But there we go, back to the fence. Mercurio ripping the bottom of the racetrack. I think from what I've heard, again, I didn't really race too much. I did a Rockingham race this week, but I wasn't fast. I think the bottom is better on tires. The top is better on speed. Take your pick. I might have that inverse, but either way, here comes Edson down the bottom. Philip Groner, someone who hasn't, been as fast as I would have thought he would have been lately, knowing that we've covered him from other series. Him in that 609 Motorsport Silverado. He's ripping the top, trying to get by that 19, and Evans trying to fill the gap.
Yeah, and as we watch here, Evans trying to fill that gap through the 19, Trey Edson down low, and he is still trying to hold on. And I tell you what, I'm not sure which way is which, but man, certainly everyone's looking fast right now. I'm curious what the tire drop-off is really going to do in the long run, and if anyone's going to try to save a little bit and run long here. Again, I don't know what the fuel load is either. Somebody can tell me, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. Back a little bit further, the 81 there. Brad Slaughter Jr. trying to get past AJ Stravato if possible and hold off Jeremy Miller, as Jeremy Miller is following him, I mean, almost pixel for pixel up the track, down the track, around the track.
Yeah, looking all around, it was North Carolina Motor Speedway and then North Carolina Speedway. Those are the names here. Just had to do, as Andre would say, pop a quick goog and sort out that information. But Groner and Howell battling, so Groner is headed in the correct direction if you are a fan of him. Moves him up into P5, and Timmy Pacioli closing in on Mercurio. That is going to be for the 2nd spot. Mercurio has won some races this season, or at least one, but still waiting on Pacioli, I believe. I don't think he has come to victory circle yet. No, he has not. Running 10th in points right now. Still looking for a win. Someone who's up front quite frequently and showing some speed as Garrett Conrath is up by about 4/10.
Yeah, Conrath looking very comfortable around this track. I'll be curious to ask him later, whether it's in Victory Circle, in Discord, wherever it's at, and just ask him about his comfort on this track, because, I mean, he's absolutely having a good time here today, pulling out a 4/10 of a second lead and continuing to try to stretch that lead out a little bit as we go. Mercurio, I think, is being consistent and smooth. His lap times have been very steady, very close. Almost 1-to-1 with Garrett Conrath as they go through. Look at this on the high line. 86-73. Pacioli Nichols trying to battle it out a little bit, follow each other through. I think really if they wanted to play the game, they could work together for a bit and just go. Because right now, Corey, this is the point where we're just trying to get laps off the board. You're battling a bit. You're kind of sizing things out. But really, you're just trying to get laps off the board because nobody remembers where you're at on lap 30. And there's no stage breaks here. Everybody wants to know where you're at on lap 140.
Now look at this difference here in lanes through 3 and 4, and you can see just the live delta naturally through the center of the corner. The delta is going to go as low as geometry will let it go, but then as the exit of the corner happens and you gain that speed from the outside, that gap goes back to the larger end. Thought he was going to make it work, but see, Mercurio seems dedicated to the bottom. Pacioli is ripping the fence, and he might have a quarter panel. Well, he doesn't have it yet, but now he's going to have a decision. Stay in line, go bottom, go top. He's going to wait, and he's going to rip to the top of the circuit here in 1 and 2. and then you have to blend back down to the bottom. He didn't do that as well as he'd like to, and that cost him a little momentum there.
It's interesting that 1 and 2 really seem to be a low line area, and 3 and 4 seem to be high line. So it seems like everyone's kind of running a split decision there on low 1 and 2, high 3 and 4. And that seems to be the fastest way to get around this track, just based on watching that little section of battle there. The 77 and the 12 here getting a good battle going. The 12, of course, going to be that wonderful, wonderful truck up on the high line in the blue. That is going to be Gary Waterworth, if you're looking for who that is. And Tanner Bethea in that 77. Well, now the 85 of Lee Norton going to run around the high line, get the pass done side by side, make sure you leave room, leave just enough space. And the 77 forced to slot in the 12 ahead and loses 2 spots in the matter of a lap.
I can't, Brad, you're gonna, never mind. I'll cut that thought off because we have underwent a caution. You can't go that way, Gabe. And I think iRacing has quickly told him that you can't go that way, as he is disconnected from the world. And we'll go on our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay, sort out what happened with Gabe.
He was right behind our camera, too.
All right, why did this throw yellow out?
He's going to roll back on track right there.
Yeah, if he kept it on the grass and, woed it down, that wouldn't have caused the yellow, but why? I don't want to pass judge. We've already gotten yelled at enough today, Brad, and back in talks. I don't really want to poke the bear too much, but I don't know why he didn't woe that down instead of going back on the track. But who knows? Either way, let's head to pit road. This is probably a good time, I think, to put tires on. I mean, this is about slightly less than quarter distance, about 20% distance or something in those lines. So I'd expect maybe 1 or 2 strategy calls, but most of these guys I suspect will pop on a set of Goodyears.
Well, here's what's weird looking at lap times.
Game froze on the number 80, so a hardware failure for Gabe. So I take back my sass. He had a reason.
Worst. That is the worst.
Is it the best?
Man. Well, the best would be if it didn't freeze and you won the race.
And the number 41 has a New York Jets pit crew there. So take your pick there. And the Jets, Jets. Mercurio gets out of pit road first.
I mean, what did Mercurio do? No, Mercurio did the same thing. He just had somehow a 0.6 of a second faster pit stop than Garrett Conrath. I don't know what he did there, but doggone.
I mean, the New York Jets don't do a lot right, but it was a white and green pit crew there, so it just looked like a Jets pit crew there. But yeah, I do take back my sass, and I offer my sincerest apologies. I don't like sassing mistakenly. But yeah, he had no control of the truck there, so unfortunately that was the case for Mr. Gabe there. But we are on 1 to green now, so we'll double up, stack up, and that 82, he has been struggling on the top there. On these restarts, he will have that ability to go to the bottom, and we'll see what happens with the 49. Can he find the speed up on the top of the circuit?
Yeah, I just don't think the top of the circuit on restarts is the way to go. And I think if you're up on that high line, it's not ideal, especially up front. But Conrath is fast. Conrath has had the advantage of how many restarts to this point?
I mean, we're probably on 5 at this point.
We're in the caution game at this point. So for those of you who don't know the caution game, we stop keeping track and we guesstimate at the end where we're at. We don't know. So I know it's been at least 2 or 3. I don't know at this point what number this is. That tells you how short the memory span can be, but we'll see if Garrett Conrath can use his upteenth experience to run Mercurio here on the restart zone.
We get stack ups.
Oh, big checkup.
Yeah, they were hardcore stacking up there. Someone is sideways at the back of the field. You can't quite make out who that is. That's Forrest Smith. He went around off the opening restart there. Hendry County Motorsports replay. Yeah, that was the same thing that happened on the initial restart with Tanner Love. Just hit the gas and she done turned right.
that whole outside line just severely checked up again. But then the inside line too. I don't know what it was, if they thought Mercurio was going and then didn't. But man, I tell you what, restarts at Rockingham apparently are just the kryptonite of this track, which is not what I expected.
Yeah, well, you can see here what I did expect is that multi-lane racing, and we see that through 3 and 4. It seems like that 82 is very much wanting to stay right on that yellow line, whether it's the fast lane or not. Maybe he's banking on it for longevity, as assuming we might get a long run. But here comes Jake Nichols. He's joining the party in that number 73, trying to make a move on our pole sitter. But now he has lost his lane because the 49 is ripping that high lane. So Nichols, 73, he wants a piece of the action there, seeing what he can do.
Nichols is fast too. I wouldn't count out that number 73 at all. He's going to be in a good position to find something here too as he goes. He'll be looking to find something. The 31 here looking very quick as well going into the corner. Look at that. He's just going to rip it around the outside. Huckett films, huck it around the outside, and maybe keep it down to the wall while you're doing it.
We have a couple guys heading to the attention of the pits here. Josh Parrish is a lap down. Gabe, he has reconnected, but he has 5 laps in arrears. So that is Trey Edson. I think he qualified in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. And engage Alicia Keys mode, because he keeps on falling. Now he is just barely holding on to the top 10.
Yeah, and as he goes through, I mean, again, I think right now on lap 36, maybe he's not too stressed about it, but with the way this race has been going, you probably need to keep a good grip on the top 10 at minimum here as we go. That 28 dropping behind the 29 now as they come through. And tell you what, if you are Travis Beckner there, dropping behind there with Low Money Racing, he is going to want to find his way back up as quickly as possible when it's possible, because not ideal to be behind David Weishart.
Oh, somebody going the Disappearo act. That's Jalen Handcamp. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier, but I think the battle is getting spicy. Rick's Hot Sauce style up front right now. Again, that 82 committed to the yellow line. It's going to cost him the lead, and it's going to cost him it quickly, or maybe not now. First time, really, the 82 has been forced to run the outside of the raceway here. He'd see if he can maintain, get that run off of 2, and try to hold off the run of Conrath. And look at that. Nichols got the 49 pinned to the bottom, and now the 49's had to go from making a pass to losing a spot.
Yeah, Conrath there. This is the first time we've really seen him in traffic or have any sort of competition. Look at that. Jake to the inside, Mercurio to the outside. Side by side they go. Where they stop, well, nobody knows, but they're going to get real close there off the exit of 2. Maybe not as close as I thought, but that Rebel Rabbit High Seltzer truck. Mercurio passes Jake Nichols, holds off Jake Nichols, however you want to phrase that, and Mercurio now up into the lead.
Yeah, Mercurio back to the lead. New second place driver here, and again, I drove a truck race here about a week and a half ago, and believe me, I am probably about a 2000 iRating driver these days. I am nowhere near what these guys can do, but I did find luck in running the bottom, sacrificing time in the early part of the run, and I gained a lot to the back. The only negative of it was that I wasn't able to overcome as much as I had lost early in the run. So that being said, if Mercurio can hold the lead and run the bottom, if this does run green, I really think that's going to play dividends for him, but whether it runs green long enough to do so is the $1 million question. But never mind, he's up top.
He's probably switching it up at this point. I'd have to think that he's driving a little bit in his mirrors, to be honest. Why do I say mirrors like that? In his rear view mirror to try to hold off Jake Nichols, because the thing is, if he can interrupt kind of the run, the speed a little bit there of Nichols, it'll prove problematic. Now, this is just scary. 2x1 by 2. Let's see how this one ends up there with that Huckett Films truck going through the 30 and the 28 behind. That's the 29 in the mix. And the 67, mind the wall there on the exit of 4.
And we got a blinker to boot as well here, going a little bit further. Jordan Kuntz, remember, he was around at some juncture in the race. Danny Ware back in the 28th spot. Wasn't Danny? Yeah, he started in 11th, but he must have been in that lap 1 faux pas. So now he is trying to claw his way back up to the front. We do still have 36 drivers on the lead lap. Forrest, even though he had a spin, he is last on the lead lap now, 20 seconds behind our leader. Nobody is 1 lap down. We instantly would go back to 2 laps down to find Jake Fisher in the 84. And here we are battling for the lead down. Big diver to the bottom. He's not going to complete the slider because the 82 finds the space, finds the speed to remain side by side.
Great run there. 82 and 73, keeping it side by side into turn 1. Look at this, separated by nothing. And 82 gets the run going around turn 1 and 2, and will get just enough to clear Jake Nichols back into second. And watch out behind that Hendry County Motorsports number 49 of Garrett Conrath. Looking good here as he comes through. 4-time feature winner in a 4-cylinder division at Slinger Super Speedway. Well, he'd love to add a virtual win here at Rockingham Speedway, Rockingham, whatever you want to call it, as he sends it to the inside here around the rock, around number 73 of Jake Nichols, trying to get the pass done here, and Corey just not able to get it at the moment.
And that just throws everything in that track debate we had a little bit earlier today. If Slinger is a super speedway and it's like a quarter mile, oh my God, Andre is just gonna. We'll have to start a podcast just for Andre here, our commentator here. You'll hear on Wednesday nights at the Elbows Out Racing League here on PTR TV. But here we go with Rocky Boyd, one of the better runs he's had as of late of this early juncture in the race. He's currently running in the 8th spot, closing in on the battle for 6th and 7th. And who is that made the big dive to the bottom? That was Rocky himself, getting by Peyton. Jonathan Evans, he had a really good run, I think 2 races ago at Loudon, if memory serves. He was hanging on to the top 10, and then our Daytona winner in the top 10 at present.
Yeah, Mason Kane looking pretty consistent here. I was worried that Daytona win was nothing but a fluke, but no, Mason Kane having plenty of pace here on the run. Rocky Boyd, I tell you what, if you really watch that pass he did, he switched back, which is something that it's a road course style move where you kind of dive it in low and then let it ride up high through the corner. And I mean, he did that. It's very short track, dirt track, road course drift style. Send it in low and then just let the truck ride back out high and hold on to the pace. That's what Rocky Boyd did. He's throwing the Hail Marys, the uppercuts here tonight. And Rocky Boyd might be one to watch here because he's still gaining on Philip Groner up ahead.
Still gaining indeed, and someone else who is gaining is Pacioli in the number 86 truck. He is going to go all the way to the top. He's going to get that run down the back straightaway. See him gain that massive amount of time, but then you hit the wall. The wall being Garrett Conrath there, so he had to back off. Now everyone's going to the top. That's going to hurt the momentum because if you're going to pass, you have to go where they're not, and that's going to be to the bottom of the track, which has not been as successful, and the wall is also not a successful line.
Why are we getting Darlington stripes around Rockingham? Is there something I've missed here? Because I didn't think that we'd be getting, ripping the wall and riding the wall through the corners here around as we go, but clearly these guys know something we don't, or at least something I don't. Maybe you know that riding the wall is fast.
Yeah.
I didn't think riding the wall worked anymore in iRacing. Maybe I'm wrong.
So for those who are less involved in the staff, announcements and all the technical nuances, iRacing does what they call surface updates. They have a friction model, which some people oversimplify as grip strips. So they basically can dynamically place grip on the track to make it race more realistically. And, this older pavement, the dynamics of older pavement, you run on the bottom for years and years and years. You rub the grit off that asphalt so it's a little bit slicker. But you go up to the top of the track, that grit still exists. It hasn't been run as much over the years. So you'll find more grip in those unused lanes of the track. So that iRacing tries to emulate that. So you get more grip at the wall, lets you go faster to overcome that distance. Sometimes they're a little, their values are a little off, and sometimes it gets a little overly drastic, such as this incident that Lee has saved.
It. How did the 85 save that? That is truck control is what that is.
I don't know if I want to give that the Ricky Rudd Save of the Race award yet, but it's definitely going to be a nominee. Let's watch the replay.
We might hold on to it and see what happens.
Oh, yeah. That was a shot from the 7 of Ballier there. And everybody goes by. He held it to the apron, let everyone go on our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay.
Yeah, great run there from him to hold that on. Very smart to, not panic, not overcorrect. Just let the truck ride to the apron there and then keep it together. He did a good job there holding on to that. And we'll see what happens there. I'm sure race control will take a peek at that later on as they go. Look at this up front. Nichols and Conrath going side by side. Or no, that is Pacioli and Conrath going side by side. I thought Conrath was trying to move up into second, but no, he is engage Alicia Keys mode, trying to fall down into fourth here.
Yeah, Pacioli has the faster truck, but just hasn't found the way by. And, well, now here's a chance. What is he going to do? He's going to run the top. He's probably going to get a whale of a run, not a dolphin. He's going to get a whale of a run off turn number 2. Not as much as he would have liked. But this is where you really just can't run the bottom through the 3 and 4. You can kind of get away with it through 1 and 2, but we're not seeing anybody successful running the bottom of the racetrack there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's not been a good time in 3 or 4 at all. 3 and 4 seems to be really where the passing zone is coming up here. It seems like that is really where the crate battles are coming through. Look at that battle right there, coming in out of 1 and 2 as they come around. Still plenty of trucks trying to go 2x2 around this track. The front end of the field has really spread out, though, a little bit. That's that mid to backpack is really where they're starting to compress, which is weird because usually you would just see the whole field spread, but it's like as the front has stretched, the rear end of the track has just compressed together, and it's causing all of these trucks mid to backpack to just get much, much closer and kind of really create some good battles.
Now, speaking of good battles here, back in the 11th spot, we see Handcamp, and then we see the 19 of Trey Edson going into arrears as David Weishart trying to make his presence known here to the outside of the 31. I think he is trying to rip the outside and get by the 31. 31's trying to take the lane from him, but and I guess he will ultimately do that. Seth Noel, remember, he was fastest in warm-up, and he is doing a fabulous job working himself through the field here in that number 1 truck.
Seth Noel looks quick there through 3 and 4 when you see him actually around traffic and closing the gap, or maybe the 29 just had a very bad run there. Weishart being wise to hold that low line. 87 of Jeremy Brown will go around the high line. And then, of course, you have the number 12 there of Gary Waterworth, who's going to bring it through. So that 29's been trapped to the bottom line. Now, this is classic short track racing style. And you see behind them, behind Waterworth and then Lee Norton, Brad Slaughter, Coots, Ballet, Beckner, that is all just becoming a mess. And these guys are getting antsy.
Speaking of Travis Beckner, again, our replay sponsor with Hendry County Motorsports Park. You could join them Saturday, April 26th to see the Cruza late models, Thunder trucks, and more. Tickets $20 for adults, and kids age 5 and under are free. Bring the family of 4 to the track with a ticket pack of 4 for $25. Come see the racing at the southernmost dirt track in America in Clewiston, Florida. HendryRacing.com for more info. And I did have to poke the bear a little bit, Brad. You didn't put one of the links in the description.
I don't know what you're talking about. They're all in the description. I never miss a.
There was a link, the link tree for Elite Entertainment, which we will get to in about 10 laps. It was missing.
No, that did not happen. I've never messed up a description on a YouTube video. Come on now, Corey. Don't call me out in public like this.
I couldn't figure out if you were actually trying to be defensive or if you were just playing yourself. But,
no, I'm not trying to be defensive. You know the amount of times that I've had to go back and redo the links after I've done the links. Come on now. You know me better than that.
Yeah.
That's why I proofread.
You know me down with OPP. I said that backwards, but every last homie. But either way, lap number 65 on the board. And I love when I say something that kind of sort of ends up being relatively accurate. Mercurio stayed on the bottom for the first 15, 20 laps of the race, rather than ripping the top the entire run. And now look at him pulling away by 2.5 seconds over the rest of the field, as if he has a little bit more tire to play with. He saved it earlier on, unlike Pacioli getting dead sideways off of 2. Saved the tires early on. They last that little bit longer. Allows him to gain this lead, and you can see everyone just having so much trouble passing now, especially on that inside through 3 and 4.
I'm just going to point out that every once in a while, we do know what we're doing in the commentary booth. Every once in a while, we nail it and we know what we're talking about. It's not all the time, but every once in a while. So as we kind of watch this go through, this is going to be a fun one to watch and see how things play out in the long run here. Because the front
Ryan
is just
squeezes Pacioli into the turn 4 wall. He didn't do it necessarily intentionally, gave him just enough space. Pacioli able to recover, but certainly that was a tight squeeze.
Yeah, squeezing it like I'm trying to squeeze lemonade or squeeze orange juice. Look at this. He's going to squeeze. He's going to squeeze. He's going to squeeze. He's going to squeeze. And I almost think the 86 kept him out of the wall at that point, coming back down.
Yeah, so and so far, whoa, that's not no bueno. Hey, hang on to it, brother.
There's your Ricky Rudd save of the race. I'll call it.
No, he didn't save it. The wall saved him there. The wall saved him there. We'll go back on our Hendry County Motorsports Park. I mean, that sponsor's getting the most placement here today.
What? Watch those hands on that wheel. Watch that wheel come through. Watch that wheel. Watch that. Snap, 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 snap. Look at that.
Yeah, that awkward shaped wall, the awkward shape of the D shape on the front stretch here, to the avail of Timmy. And looking at that Ford F-150, you can see he's not learned anything, still ripping the fence, but it doesn't look like he's too bad off. So he'll be able to recover from that. But that puts Ryan Andrew in the 3rd spot, and we'll see what the lap times are going to be. Does that 8 have a chance to get to the 49? Last time by, well, he was the fastest of the top 3, not by a ton, but he's still fastest nonetheless.
Hey, something's better than nothing. We just crossed half race distance, and well, tapping the wall on the exit of 2 might not help. Again, why are we getting Darlington stripes here going around Rockingham? Wrong track, guys. Right idea, wrong track. As we come through, watch that 8 come through, and tell you what, Pacioli probably is not happy about Ryan Andrew right now, getting there and squeezing him through. I'd like to imagine that Pacioli probably is not the biggest fan of Ryan Andrew in that moment. But, it's one of those things that sometimes just little accidents happen. Little happy accidents can happen, and I think everybody will be okay for as they go through. Coast to Coast Sim Racing's Pacioli is really, for Coast to Coast, the highest up truck right now. Well, that's a lie. Mercurio's leading, but other than that, Pacioli there in 5th for Coast to Coast, doing pretty well.
Yeah, we got Mercurio heading into a little bit of traffic in his front windshield here, but again, we are now past halfway here in the Rockingham race number 6 for the Area Truck Series, and we would like to bring to the party the Elite Entertainment sponsor that helps us out with this series. Add some life to the party with Elite Entertainment, located in Boiler Springs, South Carolina. Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, and more. Visit the Linktree description that hopefully will be in the description of the video, assuming Brad puts it down there.
It's there. Come on now. It's there.
It will be in post. It will be in post. So.
Oh no, it's there right now. You think I can't edit on the fly and commentate these trucks going around? Come on now. I've learned from the best.
I didn't know you could tap your head and rub your belly at the same time. Well, you learn something every day.
I never claimed I can do that. I just claimed that I can talk and edit a YouTube description at the same time.
Here we come. We have Brad Slaughter into the pits and our Hendry County Motorsports Park. How many times have I said that today in today's broadcast? He is down into the pit. So again, 76 laps into this race. Let's take our stints and bring them into perspective. We're right around lap 50 coming to that point in the run. So if we take where we are in the race, we're about 65 laps to go. If you pit now, you can make it to the end. So this turns us into that old-fashioned overcut undercut situation, Brad. We're down 1.7 seconds on the stopwatch. You can make it from now. The longer you pit, the faster you are at the end, the more time you have to gain. If you pit now, you're going to constantly be losing and hope it equalizes out.
It is crazy the fall off of these trucks on the long run. I did not realize that we were almost 2 seconds a lap slower, losing that much time. I also didn't realize that Brian Mercurio had pulled out a 3.5-second lead over Garrett Conrath, which tells me that Garrett Conrath might be feeling it even worse, or maybe he's saving a little bit more. It's hard really to tell because he's a little bit faster, but I tell you what, if you're the leader right now, if you're Mercurio, this would make me nervous trying to work my way through lap traffic and through these trucks coming around. But I think everyone played nice there and gave him a little bit of space, just enough space, and now he's going to run that low line there and just clear himself out of 2. And yeah, there's your gap. There's your big old gap going through.
Here's Jonathan Evans getting by Pacioli. Clear, not clear, not clear, not clear, now clear. And now the 52 of Peyton Howell will say, hey, this 86 is dropping like a rock, so maybe I can make that inside lane work for this pass. And certainly the case, because Pacioli is going for the deja vu.
Pacioli and that exit of turn 4, they are mortal enemies. I have a feeling the exit of turn 4 is going to have to write a 500-word essay apologizing for what it's done to Pacioli tonight here. On board we go, and well, how'd this one happen? Watch those hands, that little snap to the right that he had to catch, and again, he keeps it from becoming worse. Some of that is the wall there on the front stretch being his friend. Some of that is the exit of 4, and no surprise here, Corey, Pacioli straight to the pits.
Yeah, he was one that we thought was going to win this race, and now look at, here's the fresh tires. There's that 2 seconds, and really the biggest thing we're going to be looking for is I mean, Pacioli technically was the highest in the top 10 to pit, but he's not running pace that we're worried about for the win anymore. So it's really going to be a matter of who is going to be the first in the top 5 to pit. But with that 4-second lead, Brad, Mercurio can handle even a 2, 3, 4 lap difference with the kind of lead he has over the field right now.
He can, but does he really want to risk it that much? I mean, because here's the thing too, green flag stops are a whole different ball game to running a regular pit stop under caution. You have to get down off of the track. You got to get down to pit lane speed, and you got to make sure you don't speed, which it looks like there's a little bit of smoke there. Somebody has sped or locked it up into their box, something. As we go through, you can see left side's up on that number 40 truck as he goes, and as you watch, again, another lap from Mercurio, so he just doesn't feel it's time yet. I bet you he's trying to go long enough that he can pit and make it to the end regardless of if there's a green, white checkered. So he is just trying to hold on, and he's still finding time on Conrath, though. That's the thing. He's still opening up a gap and just finding just enough time that it doesn't really matter.
Someone coming into the pits right here is we go from our top-down perspective and at Rockingham Speedway, and you can see we essentially have a conveyor belt. Very little of this racing track is unoccupied with cars, so you find them everywhere you go. Here's the 87, Jeremy Brown, to the attention of his crew. Danny Ware in that number 35. He is exiting his stall, and the lead's just growing and growing by about 0.2 a lap for Mr. Mercurio. And it just makes you wonder, Garrett Conrath, I mean, at this rate, 5 seconds back, there's almost a 3-4 lap delta that he can hang on and still have the lead. Mercurio is on fire, and everyone else is just praying for a yellow without being the yellow.
Yeah, that's the thing that really gets interesting here is you have there was somebody sliding right as the camera cut. And I want to say that was the 13 maybe. Actually, yeah, I think that was Stravato who slid a little bit there through 1 and 2. It was the orange truck, but man, he gathered it up. We're good. I thought you commentator cursed us, man. I was about to say, between you and me, they're going to fire us tonight.
Yeah, there is that Tokyo drift there on the entry, trying to woe it down as everybody was to his outside there on that Hendry County Motorsports Park replay. So lead now close to 5 seconds, and look what is in front of our second and third place drivers right now, and that has allowed Ryan Andrew to get right to the back bumper of Garrett Conrath here, and that allows him to move into that second spot as, again, the field, the comers and goers, the fresh tires, the old tires. And we'll switch to our ticker to our stint mode here to get a perspective of who has pit.
Yeah, Andrew here to the inside. You can see that somehow Andrew still has a ton of pace on these tires. I mean, he is still ripping times through. He's looking pretty good. He was 2.5 tenths faster last lap than Garrett Conrath ahead as they come through. I mean, he's got pace here still to give, even on lap 60 of these tires, even with, fresh tires coming through. Now watch this, dive to the inside through 1 and 2, hold it down low there. And well, if Garrett Conrath is going to tap the wall, that just opens the door.
Well, I think he just rubbed off a little paint there, just cost a little weight on the truck. But another big partner with the league is the High Banks podcast. Two blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode, take a guess, 228 with Jacob Bell, available on Spotify. I have heard that they are on episode like 234. But they're putting the focus. We really want 228 to go viral. So but take a listen to that High Banks podcast on Spotify.
Well, I mean, come on. If you're going to have an episode of the High Banks podcast with the league owner, Jacob Bell, you might as well. Episode 233 dropped on April 5th. So, I mean, they've got episodes coming out every 2 weeks. So you might as well just go and give them a listen. Even if it's not 228, give them a little bit of love there for helping make this happen. This is what I love to see happen. Look at this as we come through. That is all these fast trucks trying to find their way around that number 73 down to the inside. Jake Nichols is going to hold it high there. The 81 is going to go by. The number 16 is going to go by in that 73. Jake Nichols still needs to pit, so he's got a little bit of a wiggle moment going. 63 laps on tires around Rockingham will do that to you.
It will do that indeed. As still waiting up front. The lead is just growing and growing. Now upwards, if not actually 6 seconds. Last time around, he was at a 26:07. Well, we'll just bring up the ticker here. 26:07. 2/10 up on Conrath, 4/10 up on Ryan Andrew. I mean, not really a battle for first, but that's just what the graphic says there. So this race has really turned a corner here. A lot of corners, that's what oval racing is, but it's turned a corner. Remember, we started off with about 4 to 5 cautions in straight succession, and now all of a sudden we've run, 60, 70 laps consecutively?
Probably, yeah. And even then with that last caution we had, I think if it was a case of if it wasn't for who was that, Gabe Herschel, for his PC locking up the way it did and losing control, I think we still would have been green. I don't think we would have had a caution at that point. That's the thing with area. You knock the cobwebs off and these guys can run ridiculously good racing as they go through. This 82 of Brian Mercurio still looking good, and what do you know, somebody else deciding to come to the pits. The number 11 there, Philip Groner, he has had enough of those tires and he's into the pits.
Yep, he's in the top 5, although he was roughly 10 seconds off the pace. So again, that's not, I mean, really at this point, Mercurio, he can do what he wants. He doesn't even need to worry about anybody else. But here comes the 49, and here comes Ryan Andrew. Andrew, he's going in deep, trying to gain some time on the pit entry there. A little bit of lockup from the 49, but as long as you get down, I would say, all in all, I'd say good job by Ryan Andrew there. Gain himself maybe 2 or 3 tenths by just going full send towards that coat.
Yeah, and honestly, that is the big thing that is so hard about green flag stops.
Oh, here comes the leader. Brian's in.
Oh, good, Brian. Good timing, Brian. Bring it through. Seth Noel, it appears, is staying out. Jonathan Evans is in. So you've still got some trucks staying out, and we'll see how Mercurio does on this pit stop. If he holds onto the lead, does he mess it up? Does he do it right? Well, we'll find out here in about 30 seconds time.
I can see here still waiting for about 6 or 7 trucks to pit, and Mercurio there entering and getting his service down. That New York Jets pit crew. I mean, I don't know if that's what it is, but that's just what I'm going to go with until we prove it wrong afterwards. But he's going to exit the pits, no penalty, no issues. Going to keep it right to the bottom on that marble-ridden apron and blend up on that blue line. And now we'll see where he is in relation to Garrett Conrath, who was the second place car. We'll see how they shake out of the scoring.
Yeah, it seems like he did a good pit stop there. And also, could that be Green Bay? I don't think that's Green Bay. I do think that is New York, but I'm trying to think who else that could be. That's
Green Bay is more of like a grass screen, and the Jets is more of a, I don't know, like a military. I don't even know. More of a slate. I don't know. Guys, we don't know colors. Seth Noel comes into the pits. I mean, you go to Home Depot for some paint with your wife. She'll tell you this is like, I don't know, it's 4-year-old baby shirt blue, and guys are like, it's just blue. I don't know.
The only blue that I really care about is Miami blue. And well, you know why I love Miami blue. It's Miami blue, it's peanut butter blue, and it's
wait. Hold the
gray.
phone. What in Davy Jones' locker is peanut butter blue?
So peanut butter blue is actually a Hyundai color, and it's technically called performance blue, but we all called it peanut butter blue. And it's the blue it's kind of like a baby blue that they painted the Hyundai Veloster in. It's like kind of Hyundai's blue color that they use for everything. Like Porsche has Miami blue, and the Veloster has performance blue that everyone just called PB. So it got the nickname peanut butter blue.
Interesting stories. In chat, we are confirming that my assertions were correct. It is the Jets pit crew there. So, pit crew a lot of times in the real world actually does come from NFL teams. The players, they retire at 32, 33 because the NFL is so, ridiculously difficult for longevity of those players. So they will get another 10 or so years out of their career and they will become NASCAR pit crews. So who's to say? Just little small factoids of information here. As you can see, we're still waiting 3-4 drivers to come to the pits. 70-something laps into their run. And if we compare that to where we are gap-wise, you can see most everybody is back on the lead lap. And Mercurio back there 14 seconds off the lead. And where was second place? I'm already forgetting who was in second place there. Garrett Conrath was. And he's just about 5-6 seconds back. So that gap stayed the same.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that Conrath is all the way back in 19th. That's the impressive part to me, is that he's that far back right now. And that is, that's what 5 seconds does, though, realistically, is when you filter things through it. He built just enough of a gap there going through. So whenever, Mercurio pit in, pit out, it just worked. And he is now 12 seconds off the lead, running his way up into P5, as it looks like Devin Johnson and David Weishart both now into the pits.
Now, finally coming into the attention of their pits, kind of realizing, all right, the yellow flag's not coming out, and my truck needs some go fast juice in it. So, David, he done went bye-byes.
Okay, bye. Have a wonderful time.
Yeah, he overshot his box there and then just disappeared. But either way, let's go and check out what's going on up here. This is Jake Nichols. In the third spot, Jake has yet to pit. Yes, Jake, Peyton, and Jordan Kuntz all have yet to pit. Timothy Pacioli pit 26 laps ago. Oh, yeah, he pit stupidly early. I'm trying to remember this. He pit right at the opening of the pit window. So technically, yes, he is going to be the leader once Peyton pits. Now, if we relate this to Brian Mercurio coming off, let's see, right at the start-finish line. Let's get a perspective. Pacioli start-finish, Mercurio turn 4. So I'd say about half a straightaway that Pacioli has over Mercurio with that damaged truck, with that slower pace.
Yeah, but 0.4 of a second faster Mercurio against Pacioli on the last lap. 24.8 Mercurio, 25.2 for Pacioli. So, for Mercurio, this is just child's play at this point. He's just got to run laps, keep the best out of those tires. For Pacioli, as soon as you know Mercurio is nearby, you're driving out of your rearview mirror and you are driving the wheels off of that truck to hold Mercurio behind. Really, Pacioli maybe needs to save a little bit, play nice to his tires a bit. We'll see what happens really quick. I don't know if Pacioli has cooked anything, to be honest. I think this might be a interesting strategy case. This might be a battle brewing real quick as Mason Kane finds the wall there in the 31, but Beckner, Conrath, Handcamp all around there. That's a chaotic little section of cars. A gaggle, if you will. Yeah,
whereas Mr. Matt Malone used to cover Matt Malone back in the AMS days of this muscle car series. Always fun to hear him, but he ain't here. But 49, Garrett Conrath trying to slice and dice. Gets by Garrett Grant in the number 5 truck. Garrett Grant pit 30 laps ago. Again, one of the drivers who pit at the very early opportunity. So that gained a lot of time early in the run. as Garrett hits the fence. And who is that down to the bottom of the track? That 60 truck had a head of steam. That's Alex Chilcutt there. I think that kind of startled some drivers and put him in the wall there. As there goes that 60 back into the wall once more.
Yeah, the 60 and the wall. There's certain trucks that them and that exit of turn 4 are best friends and mortal enemies at the same time. The 60, I'm adding to that list with Pacioli there as we go through. Watch this. Dive down low for 31. Mason Kane trying to work his way through. Now he's got Beckner there to the high line. The Hendry County Motorsports truck go through, and, well, he is going to clear the 28. That puts Mason Kane in the top 10, which I'm sure he'd be happy with. But him in that turn 4 wall, and then I believe that was the 71 behind that just tapped it there for sympathy.
Now here's a battle a little bit higher up. It's going to be the number 26 Jonathan Evans passing. That is the 87 of Jeremy Brown, but all the while going up front and just giving perspective. Pacioli still is our race leader, but that gap that was 4.3 seconds is now sub 2 seconds. Not talking about a submarine sandwich. Less than 2 seconds now, and dropping rapidly, losing about 4/10 of a second last time by. He is praying to the racing gods for a caution and that he could put some fresh tires on before Mercurio gets there in probably about 4 laps.
Yeah, and as we come through here, lap 115 to lap 40, I mean, he's starting to see the life fall out of Mercurio's tires, but even then, it's still a 0.3-ish difference sometimes. And I mean, even as we watch through coming out of turn 2, I mean, that's really where a lot of that pace difference is really just the first half of the track. You go through the back half of the track here, and I mean, it's just, even then, there's still pace difference. Gap now half a second up front, continuing to close. The question is, can Pacioli hold off Mercurio for any time here? The 90 and the 50 on screen with the 09. Now this is a good battle. That's Casey Lakatis that we see there coming around, still trying to hold on. And, well, here we go. Gap 0.2 of a second, quarter of a second. If the pace is still there, this should be the lap.
All right, he is going to try to make that 86 very wide, but right now that 86 is about as thin as a piece of paper there, and it goes right to the bottom of the track, and he has no opportunity. He'll send it as hard as he can on that outside lane, but those tires just don't have enough to even make that faster lane work. Lead change, Mercurio back to P1. And now Pacioli is just going to be in defense mode. What can he save? What can he muster? I think he was running about 7th or 8th when he pit. 22 laps to go. How far back will he drop? My estimation's probably about 6th or 7th, but we'll see.
Well, 22 laps to go. He's on lap 37 of the stint here. So, I mean, he really has nothing left in those tires. And if you think about it, we saw those tires at the end of their life from most of the leaders dropping about 2 seconds a lap in difference. So, yeah, it's saving at this point, and it's just trying to bring home what he can. I think he's done something good. He tried something different to mix it up. I think ultimately just a little bit of the pace isn't going to be there for him in the end. Maybe just not saving enough, trying to overdrive it early in the stint. 67 and 30 there on the bottom of the screen. Just a little bit of a love tap there between Handcamp and Miller as they come around. The 81 of Brad Slaughter's there. Philip Groner just ahead from them as well as we come through. I mean, man, these guys are racing hard, and this is the battle for the mid-end of the top 10. This is not the lead, but doggone, you'd think it's the lead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show some other battles here or stuff going on. We got Ben Pierce, 65 truck in the pits, just trying to show some drivers we haven't shown. And that battle earlier, that was the 90 of Devin Johnson and Casey Lakatis there. Casey, obviously not one that we talk about all the time, but that was a worthwhile little endeavor, but he falls back in. Who else do we got that's in close proximity? Tanner Bethea in that 77. Doug Denice, he is in the 20th spot. But we got to go back to that battle back end of the top 10. Not missing anything up front. Mercurio's pulled away to just under 2 seconds. But here we are right at that top 10 bubble. And that's Jeremy Miller hard in that wall. That's where that safer barrier tapers out. That allows Garrett Grant to gain a little bit of time.
And Garrett Grant's going to be happy with that. Now watch this. Watch that front bumper. Watch that corner there as you go through the most starts in areas. So I'd say the wisest driver on the track, and he's very wise to kind of watch what he's doing there. As we come through 3 and 4, 30 holds it high there, and Garrett Grant in the 5 is going to bring it low here. Hold on, and just loses a little bit of pace there. Mason Kane in the background there, being challenged by Seth Noel. Side by side they go through, and the 5 still trying to find the run on the 30 through 1 and 2, but that one is Seth Noel just very quickly getting the pass done, squeezes the 5 a little bit and gets his way into P10.
Yeah, he has some good speed right now, and again, switching our ticker over as the 30 back into the wall, and you can see where that safer barrier juts out. The 31 found it the hard way. It tapers down, and that is realistic to how it is here at Rockingham in the real world. They didn't put a safer barrier on the front stretch there. Makes an awkward transition at certain points, but you could see Pacioli 43 laps, a lot of guys at 28, some 27, 29. Jalen Handcamp in that 67. He has quite some time. Then Brad Slaughter there in that number 81 truck, who is just ahead of this little battle. He has 50 laps on his tires, the longest of anybody, but he's still managing to run a decent pace.
Yeah, doing a good job there going through, and there it is, Seth Noel again up into P7 now. He's got those fast tires going through, and he's only 25 laps into his stint, so he's doing a good job there. We can see the lap time difference, and the big one that I want to point out is Pacioli, 25.6 to a 25.4.
No, I want to show
Conrad.
Handcamp. Look at that, 2 seconds around this place. He's whipping.
How is
That's called when a driver blinks, it throws off the lap time. So yeah, he did not actually run 2 seconds. He would be a Formula One car on ultra steroids. Couldn't run this place in less than 15. So, but yeah, there it goes back to a more normal lap. But look at the difference up front there, Brad. A 35.38 for Mercurio. 4 tenths up. Actually, last time by a little bit slower, only about 2 tenths off. As the only reason why is because he's in traffic.
Yeah, and I mean, traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. If you've watched any road series here on PTR TV, that's a very common phrase that I say, and it's true even in ovals. When all you're doing is turning left, traffic giveth, but traffic can taketh away. It can open the gap, it can close the gap, it can create problems, and it can be your best friend or mortal enemy depending on, well, how the traffic wants to act. Of course, no blue flag rules here in oval racing. It is just kind of a be nice to each other sort of situation. Don't make them call you the holler after the race and punch you around for wrecking the leader when you were going a lap down. But really, you know, everyone plays nice here in area, which is a thing I like. And 2x2, we're going to go here. 87 almost slides up into the 5 as we go, and the 87 is going to hold low there on the 5. Garrett Grant, Mason Kane, Jeremy Miller ahead, still side by side. Let's just make this a 2x2 battle real quick. Possibly might look for 3 wide if that 87 can stay low enough.
Yeah, for caution,
Mason, hold on to it, buddy.
If a caution's going to come out to interrupt the ending of this race, it's going to come from right in this camera shot on screen right here. Garrett Grant, Mason Kane cannot keep it out of the fence. Jeremy Brown goes to the bottom of the racetrack here. So speaking of nothing, because I don't have a segue for it, race fans can visit shop.areairacing.com for high quality merchandise at low prices. Shop from 100 selection of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and more. Area accessories, easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areairacing.com.
Listen, you got these guys hugging the high side like I hug a fudge round going around when I just sneak one out of my mom's cabinet when I visit her every once in a while. So those guys are just holding the line together, trying to go through.
Greasy Chicken off turn number 2.
Here.
Lee Norton got really loose off a 2. And obviously very, very scary to have that happen right to the leader. He does get by, but yeah, that was certainly arduous. Lee Norton holding on to the lead lap till the very, very end here. Sub 10 laps to go at the Rock.
Amazing. We're 8 laps to go. And also, if you want to know what's real scary when you're the leader, if you have someone doing that, man, it's such a time. I'm glad he's holding on to it, but I think at this point you're a lap down. Just back it off and just get to the end, man. 8 laps to go, and everybody would love to just run this thing to the end.
Yeah, it's one of those Hendry County trucks there. Oh my goodness, oh, save it, no!
Mason!
Wait, he didn't wreck yet. Oh, they wrecked. They're on the apron. If they don't go onto the racing surface, we'll stay without a caution flag. They kept it on the apron. We will stay green. That was either dumb luck or amazing sportsmanship to not try to screw up the end of the race. We'll quickly check it out on our Hendry County replay.
So the 31 bumps the wall here and is going through. He gets a little loose through the corner, bumps the wall, comes down in the 87 and kind of just tank slaps him. And then at this point, the 87 is trying to get off the racing line and the 31 is there as well. And I think just the 87 had no clue he wasn't clear to the inside. And then again, by dumb luck, they hold the brakes. They keep it down off the racing surface. We stay green, 6 laps to go. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to call dumb luck, but I'm also going to nail sportsmanship in there because I think they also, you know the algorithm here. If you're sideways on the racing surface and a car passes you, that's what triggers a yellow. So if you're backwards on the apron, it don't matter. And they knew that if they're on the apron, it's not going to throw a caution. I think they tried everything they could to make sure that they didn't drift up and throw this race in arrears, and they did just that. But up front, I will say, we all have to admit this, is Pacioli is in an absolute gargantuan battle here with all these lappers. The fact that he has stayed in second this long, which I don't know if it's going to last because Conrath is right there, the fact that he has stayed in second is absolutely baffling and really shows that pit call working for him, assuming that these lap cars don't cause him problems.
Here's the thing. Look who's right behind him now. Garrett Conrath, that lap traffic getting stuck. And now we're going to take it 3 wide with a lap car. And 86 just doesn't have the grip to fight it. Hold on to it. Hold on to it, boys. 49 is going to slide up there. And I think Pacioli will still find third when it's all said and done. He's still got space, but 49 of Conrath will drop it low there. And he holds on to it because they were going through traffic at that 84 was making me so nervous. And there's a little bit of a slide from Conrath, but with 2 laps to go, Pacioli, I tell you what, hats off to you, sir. Third place. What a beautiful show there, especially when you had the pit strategy you had that I was wondering. Chat, we let him cook. That was a good decision from him.
And third place a little bit further back, so rather fourth, Ryan Andrew. So he probably will hang on to that, but already up front, 82 of Mercurio has the lead by over 8 seconds. He's led over half this race, 90 laps. It'll be 91 if he can complete half of a lap further. He'll come through 3 and 4. The 82, the pit crew, JETS, Jets. That pit crew got him the lead. He never relinquished. Comes off a 4, winning at the Rock, Brian Mercurio.
Beautiful run there from Brian for a great win. And Garrett Conrath with a great pass with just 2 or 3 laps to go was able to find second in the mix of traffic to help him. 86 comes across third, and right behind that 84 was that number 8 of Ryan Andrew. Was chasing third place, just barely ran out of time in the end, but amazing run. And then Philip Groner, got to shout out that number 11, found 5th place at the end of the day.
Yeah, Philip Groner, great job. Again, Pacioli using that strategy. We saw all the issues, how many times he absolutely annihilated the fence. Didn't really seem to slow him down, but that 82, again, this will be, let me pull up my stat sheet here on the back end. This will be his 2nd win of the season and has not been out of the top 5 all but once here, as he'll burn things down here on the front straightaway at Rockingham. Dominating effort for that number 82, that Rebel Rabbit High Seltzer automobile there. So that Ford F-150. So while he goes and burns it down, let's head up to the post-race show here and give you that final rundown of results here today from the Rock.
Bringing up the results here. Brian Mercurio by 9 seconds brings home a win for Coast to Coast Sim Racing, the 2nd win for Brian Mercurio this season. Garrett Conrath in 2nd, and Timmy Pacioli, Coast to Coast. You can celebrate 2 drivers in the top 3 there. Ryan Andrew in 4th. Philip Groner finds P5 when it's said and done. Seth Noel in 6th. Jonathan Evans in 7th. Rocky Boyd throwing some uppercuts to find 8th place. Jalen Handcamp was able to keep it together for P9, and Peyton Howe, trying to chase down Mercurio, was able to hold on to a top 10 win and keep some points in his name for the day.
Next page results is as follows. Brad Slaughter, a good run in 11th. Garrett Grant, he had a lot of TV time here today in 12th. Jeremy Miller last on the lead lap in 13th. Josh Valier 14th. Danny Ware in 15th. Travis Beckner, our flagman, in 16th. And Trey Edson dropped pretty far back into 17th. Lee Norton had a chaotic day. And then we have Gary Watersworth. And then Jake Nichols, a uncharacteristically bad run for him down there in 20th.
Yeah, going to 21st, Doug DeNice in 21st, Tanner Bethea 22nd, Jordan Kuntz, Bryce Sinisak, Justin Anasogak in P25. Jeremy Brown, Mason Kane ends up in 27th place after that absolute heart in the throat moment with just 5 laps to go. Devin Johnson 28th, Alex Chilcutt 29th, and Casey Lakatis will find 30th place.
And then just rounding out things here, from a lot of these guys were involved in different incidents in our lap 1 melees. We had Forrest Smith 31st, Jake Fisher 32nd, Dominic Previtt. Then we have AJ Stravano, Tanner Love, Ben Pierce, David Weishart, Hallman, Parrish, and Herschel. And just to round things out here, the last 2 that started, Diedrich and Preston Pardis. He was out very early, one of those opening cautions here tonight. But we'll get ready to head into Victory Circle here. Did they change the interface on Discord? Oh, there we go. We'll take you to Victory Lane with Mr. Brian Mercario, and Brad has caught up with him.
Brian, sir, welcome to Victory Lane. Got that Rebel Rabbit high seltzer truck back in Victory Lane for the second time this season. How's it feel, man?
Man, it feels pretty good. Feels like, ever since Daytona, I've sat on every step of the podium here on out, and I was able to win in race 2 at Homestead, and I've kind of finished third and second and third and second and third, and finally be back in Victory Lane is pretty nice.
Yeah, it was awesome to see through. I got to ask, where in the world was your pace coming from? Because you were like half a second faster than some trucks on that final end after those green flag stops.
Man, it's just it's a lot of balancing of just kind of keeping the tires together. With the scan that we have on iRacing here, we still got the old bumpy Rockingham, not quite the early 2000s or whatever. I don't know. Either way, it's a bumpy Rockingham, and just knowing to kind of keep the tires alive and just kind of be there for the long haul. We got that restart on like lap 30 something, and knowing that we were going to go at least 100 laps or so, 100 plus to the end. Just kind of keeping the tires together, and it's kind of a cat and mouse game of when you're going to pit, when's the leader going to pit, when are the guys behind you going to pit. I saw some guys went really, really aggressive and pit super late. It didn't really work out for them, I don't think. So fortunately, I built up a big enough gap to where I can kind of call my own race and pick out my own strategy. So had a number kind of set to it. Had to change it a little bit on the fly, and just kind of felt confident all the way through. Knowing how to run the top and being able to keep the tires on is really important, and being able to kind of weave through traffic, kind of like Kyle Larson at Bristol a few weeks ago. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, man. And Brian, I got to ask, you're leading the points. You got that coast-to-coast sim racing truck up into Victory Lane yet again. What's the goal for next week going to Darlington?
Well, I think we're going to have a pretty nice paint scheme rolling out for Darlington. You guys will see. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a faux back, as I like to call. It's kind of taking, modern day or current sponsors for what we have and kind of adapting it to look like an actual other company. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. Always really like Darlington. Just super hard to pass. Obviously, that's going to be the name of the game, and it's all going to be about track position. So if I can qualify inside the top 5, just kind of keep the track position up for there. I raced Seth in another league not too long ago at Darlington, so I know if he shows out next week, he's going to be really quick. Big day for the Coast to Coast guys too. Unfortunately, Jake and Preston got a bunch of damage in that lap 1 incident. Gabe had some technical issues, but for Tim he got some damage there during that run and kind of played an alternate strategy, and it really worked out for him. He almost finished second, so for me and him to bank some good points is always a great day here for Coast to Coast Racing.
Awesome, man. Brian, it's been awesome to watch you go through. Anyone you want to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, just want to give a big thank you to everybody over at Coast to Coast. bringing me on board. Really enjoying doing these races here in the area. Rebel Rabbit High Seltzer being the primary sponsor here. My number 82 machine. PrestonPartis.com, Moras.live, T-Patch Designs, Paul Fod Racing, What's on Tap, and one of our newer sponsors, as I mentioned last race, the NYC and NJ NASCAR Club. Big thank you to all of them for making this happen. Been a ton of fun, just kind of banking points here. That's the goal. Getting a win is nice, but really getting the team points, that's my main priority. So to see a 1-2 or a 1-3 for Coast to Coast, big day.
Definitely was a good day for you. Good day for the team, Brian. Congrats, man, and we'll catch up with you next week.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, in second place here will be Mr. Garrett Conrad. Garrett gets the second place here on the day, man. Brian, obviously out in his own world. You got the pole, you led some laps early, and then once you lost the lead in that pit cycle, Brian put on the turbo boost, man. Were you able to see what he had and you're just not able to replicate it, or what was going on today?
Yeah, not sure what he had that I didn't, but he was definitely better than all of us. I thought maybe early on, if I could control the pace and stay in front of him, I could maybe hold him off. But once he beat me off a pit road, that first yellow, I had no chance after that, but just happy to bring it home second.
Hey, you brought it home second, and that's the best run of the year for you. I'm looking at your stats: 5th, the 9th, the 17th, the 12th, the 6th. What does this do confidence-wise? Obviously, you did have that top 5 at Watkins Glen. That's a little bit of an anomaly on the road course. What's it feel to, on a tough track like this, to muster through, get the pole, and, really be a top 5 truck the entire night?
Yeah, just gaining a lot of confidence back in the truck. I haven't really ran the truck a lot the past year or two, so I've kind of been slowly gaining speed every week and just getting more confidence in it. Rockingham's always been one of my better tracks anyways, so that definitely helps, and see where it goes from there.
All right, I heard Darlington is next week, so you'll get to another challenging Carolina track there. Abrasive, we'll see what you can do at Darlington. Any shout-outs before we let you go?
Thank you to my team owner, Travis Beckner, for giving me this opportunity this season, and Hendry County Motorsports Park.
Of course, man. Well, congrats on the podium here today. We'll see what you can do at Darlington.
Thanks, guys.
And of course, here today, our Victory Lane interviews are brought to you by Victory Fuel. Celebrate the victories with Victory Fuel. Choose caffeine-free flavors like Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, or Lucky Lemon. Each can packed with electrolytes, charged with vitamins, and kid-friendly. Get 10% off your order with Area iRacing at checkout. And now the guy who pulled a rabbit out of a hat that didn't have a hat in it, Timmy Pacioli, gets a third here tonight.
Timmy Pacioli, I gotta ask the $1 million question on everyone's mind. How did you get that alternate strategy to work out, man, in that what's on tap truck?
Well, I have a couple theories. One is on that first run, I hit the wall and I got some wheel damage, and it was really hurting the truck. And I have a theory that when I put new tires on it, somehow that wheel damage actually helped me a little bit on like the long run. So definitely when I pit that early, my hope was that things would cycle through and I'd get like a lucky caution or something. But actually, when I realized just how much pace I had and the gap I had on everybody except for my teammate Brian, who absolutely smoked the field, I was not rooting for a caution. So I don't know, but sometimes you get a little lucky.
Well, man, it was a lot of fun to see here. Of course, next week, Darlington, we can reset. But I got to ask, of course, 2 coast-to-coast sim racing trucks in the top 3, a win, a third. How's that feel for the team, and what's going to be the team goal moving forward here, man?
The team vibes are really good right now. I mean, every week we're getting somebody in the top 5, it feels. I mean, most weeks it's Brian, but we always have somebody else, whether it's myself, Jake, Gabe, or whoever, stepping up when we need it. And we've been able to really build a nice gap in the team points, a comfortable gap. So really doing well. I have a great group of guys that I get to race with and compete with. So the goals is just to keep the momentum going and just try to bring home this team championship.
And certainly that seems to be in good order here, man. Anyone you want to thank or shout out before we let you go enjoy your third place and catch back up with your team?
Yeah. Obviously, want to shout out What's on Tap. I also want to shout out Morass.live, Rebel Rabbit, New York City and New Jersey Club of NASCAR. Going to also shout out, sorry, let me pull it up. Preston Pardis, Paul Foddy Racing, and Morass.live. I'm not sure if I already said that one, but yeah, those are the guys that we like to represent. Those are the people that help us get to where we are and do the things that we do. So I can't thank them enough.
Awesome. Well, Tim, it was great to watch you go through, man. Congratulations on pulling the third place there, and we'll catch up with you next week at Darlington.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you.
See ya.
All right, that'll wrap up our post-race show here. Brad started off a very chaotic day, and then we turned out into an amazing run, green flag stops, and obviously one of the heavy hitters here getting another win on the season.
Yeah, this week marked officially halfway through the regular season. Of course, race 13 kicks off our playoff, so we're not too far away from that, and things are just continuing to heat up here. I'm excited to see how Coast to Coast does throughout the entire season, because I tell you what, those drivers are fast, and somebody needs to bring a challenge to them.
Now we'll see what happens indeed. If you are watching here on the YouTubes, get a like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Help us on our mission to 1,700. We just finally got our 1,600. If you like it, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you follow. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure you follow. Consider subscribing. $5 a month gets you those emotes. You can get yourself some free merch in due course. Stay tuned here on the PTR TV side. We'll be live Wednesday night, tomorrow night if you're watching this live, with the Elbows Out Racing League, their multi-class road racing series. We'll be back on Thursday night with the Area Pro Series, and then we'll be back starting on Monday with the Sim 500 returning from Dega. That's going to be Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
See you.